Have you ever been asked one simple question that completely changed the way you look at life? Sometimes it's not the answer that changes everything, it's the question. Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. I'm Rekha, and I'm here with Wendy and Rika. How
Hi.
are you guys doing?
Good, good.
It's
Great.
Busy
great.
but good.
Yeah, sorry we missed last week. I was on vacation, so we decided to skip, but here we are again this
Yeah.
week.
And never be sorry that you're on vacation.
Yeah, summers are
You
kind of like
deserve
that.
you
Yeah,
deserve that.
yeah, yeah. So we will each talk about one question that changed our way of looking at life, right? So for me, the question is one question that changed my way of thinking is what's next for me,
Hmm.
right? So for me, that question came up when life started changing. After more than 20 years in IT, then spending time caring for my family, and then my daughters got engaged, I knew life was entering a new chapter. So I remember that time and asking myself, what am I going to do next? What's
Yeah.
next for me?
And nothing
You
more
know,
clear.
and not as a wife, not as a mom, but just for me, what am I going to do next? That one question opened my mind to possibilities I had never even considered before. Sometimes we don't need all the answers. We just need to ask ourselves the right question. The quality of your life often depends on the quality of question you ask yourself. Wendy, what is the question that changed your way of thinking about life?
Okay, so this question is what happens if nothing changes? So every time I ask myself that, suddenly I feel my heart pumping very fast because it's actually very scary. Yeah, so this question is definitely something I ask myself a lot, right? Because I think comfort can become a trap. You know,
Yeah.
Yes.
being comfortable isn't always a good thing. You know, it can stop us from growing. I mean, not like we are comfortably resting in bed or, enjoying the AC when it's on a hot day. Not that kind of comfort, but it's like you know that you have a job and you are earning regular income. Although it's not great, you can do additional things like additional travel, you can give back to the community. However, you are alive, you survive, and then it's kind of I can live the day and it's kind of in a comfort. But then you ask yourself Rekha's question, right? What's gonna happen next if you
Yes.
stay with him? But if you really think like what happens like 5 years down the road,
Yeah.
imagine you are still doing what you are doing nowadays, right? With your finance, your lifestyle, does it affect your health this way because
Yes.
you can't really live the dream? What about your relationship? Is it going to be a stress on your relationship if you don't get additional time to spend with your loved ones, right? So all these will affect you in a way. And if that future, like 5 years from now, being able to do and live the dream that you want, if that doesn't excite you, you know, then today, I mean, if the future of 5 years later you're still at the same place, then if that doesn't scare you or excite you, then today is the best time to make a change.
Yeah.
So I always want to tell myself and everybody I know, I say, hey, it might be very risky to try something new today, but think about the cost of doing nothing. The cost might be even a greater risk than trying something and making things happen. Even though there's a 1% chance, it's exciting for me. So I always ask myself the question. What about you, Rika?
A very nice one. You know what? When you say that, when you ask that question, it makes your heart like pump very fast. I am the same. So my question is, what if it actually works? You know,
Yeah.
every time I think of that, I'm getting so excited. Yes, what if? What if I can be successful in this field? What if I choose the right decision? Oh my goodness, the excitement it brings is like so powerful. So, but yeah, but I on the other hand, I understand people still scared. Instead of asking what if it actually works, we will use the other one, the negative one, which we don't want. What if I fail? But again, we know that it happens many times, right? And again, if me personally, if again, I started this business, of course, I had zero knowledge in the business. Juggled so many jobs, busy parent. It was really hard. But if I stay on that track, if I stay on that negative thought, I think I will still be there forever. So instead of me thinking, what if I fail? What if it doesn't work? What if people would judge me? I changed that mindset of what if this actually works?
Right.
And then thinking, I will start imagining, you know, what will be our life look like. I can afford to do anything. I will be boss free soon in the future, something like that. And thinking, I know it's not easy, it won't happen overnight, but as long as I keep on that track, on that passion that this will work, it whatever people think, I know I will make this work, because that is me. I would really need to make this work for my family. And for example, like us also, like being an immigrant, being a busy parent, and being a working professional, we already have done difficult things in our life. Like we left what was familiar to us back home. I adapted to new environment. I learned new skills, probably new language or new culture, maybe learn new things. And we sacrifice. I sacrificed leaving my family back home. And I work really hard in a
Yeah.
place that once unfamiliar to me. So, and that means there's a courage already in us. So why not using that same courage to try something new for yourself? And of course, the reality is no one can guarantee that every decision will be easy. There's always ups and downs. There are always like challenges. There's always hurdles. Nobody can promise that it won't be. There's no challenges. But one thing for sure is you will never discover what is possible if fear makes the decision for you. So all these things that we ask, like what if I fail, that's fear. So make sure that you need to jump out of that comfort zone, leave the fear alone, and focus, and use that courage what you have now. So instead of asking the negative one, focus on the good thing, and I'm sure you will get there. I know it won't happen overnight, as I mentioned earlier, but it will happen. And again, instead of question asking what if I fail, try to ask yourself what if this really works, because sometimes the biggest risk is not failing. The biggest risk is staying where you are and never finding what could happen if you simply had that courage to try. So that's me. That's one question that really kept me on track. What if this really worked?
Yeah.
Back to you, Reka.
Yeah. I mean, these are just questions, but sometimes the right question can completely change the direction of your life. Because, questions make us stop, they make us reflect, they make us think about where we are today and where you want to be tomorrow or 3 years or 5 years. Maybe you have been busy taking care of everybody else, that you have you have not stopped to ask yourself what is next. Maybe you've gotten comfortable with life, but deep down you know you're meant for more. Or maybe you have been focused on what could go wrong, that you never allowed yourself to imagine what could go right, like Rika said,
Yeah.
right?
Exactly.
Whatever your situation, I want to encourage you to ask yourself one honest question this week. Not because you need all the answers today, but because every chapter begins with a question before it begins with an answer. Sometimes one question is all it takes to change the direction of your life, right? So, hope this episode inspired you to just start thinking, and let us know in the comment below, if something changed for you, what question was it that changed the way you looked at life? We would love to hear other people's comments. And if you're interested in what we're doing, we are doing, digital business, and we hope other people start their own digital business. And today is a webinar day, so we have a live webinar. And if you want to, watch that, then reach out to any of us or comment below, and we'll be happy to share that link with you. All right, thank you, and we'll see you next week.
See ya.
See you
Thank
next week,
you.
everybody. Stay safe and stay
Bye.
blessed. Bye.